Hi, I'm back. It seems like a long time since I've done a real video. Today's Sunday night. I know I did one Thursday. Friday, did I do something? I don't know. Did I do something Friday? Saturday, I did a couple of shorts from the craft show. I'm gonna try to clean the sound up. I did not realize how loud it was there in the dome, so I'm going to see if I can remove the sound from the video and then put in some pretty music. Okay. And I did a bunch of little posts along the way. Yes. So, if you saw any of those posts, you would know it did not go well. It was one of my worst shows. Let me see. Out of 150 shows, it was 135th. So, okay. There were about 15 shows that were worse. There were 15 shows where I ended up in the red. This one, I broke even. I paid $40 for the table fee. I took in exactly $40. That can be discouraging. It can be discouraging to be sitting there and see person after. Well, there weren't all that many people walking around. There was very, very low turnout. But to see people walking past without giving you as much as a second glance, or to have someone pick something up and say, "Oh, look at this! This is so cute," and then they put it down and walk away. That get me all excited and drop me down again. Okay, so I got home today and I made up a list. I'm like, okay, we are not going to dwell on how badly this went. We are going to dwell on the positives of the weekend. So I'll get to that. I'm just going to go over the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items that sold. The show started at 9 a.m. It wasn't until 11 that I got my first sale, and it was only $6. I sold 2 of the little scrappy balls, and because I had the sign on those saying scrappy balls, kids like them, cats love them, and a lady bought 2 for her cats. So that came out to $3, and she bought a scrunchie from my $3 box. So she spent $10, or $6, sorry. Looking right at the 6, and I say 10. And then around 11:30, my granddaughters came in. And my granddaughters were looking at my stuff, and they were just oohing and eyeing. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. And one of them wanted a chicken in a basket, but she didn't have enough money. So I asked Daddy if it was okay if I gave them each a coupon so they could get something. They could spend $10 at my shop. And I said, that way, if they want to save their money, they can buy something that's $10 or less and just use the coupon. But if they want to get something more, then they'd have to spend their money. So, they will learn the value. Like, sometimes you've got to be careful with your money. So she ended up getting her chicken. She says it looks like Chickaletta from Paw Patrol. She has been carrying that around ever since she bought it, because it came in the basket with a strap long enough for her to wear it as like a side purse. I'm surprised she didn't wear it to church today, but I think Mommy or Daddy said, no, you're not taking a toy to church. But, okay. So between the 2 grandchildren, and my older granddaughter took a monster, my September monster, which was sort of I'd say an A-frame, where I made the legs and then joined the body, and then it tapered up to the top. I think it had horns and very long arms. I just called it my September monster in fuchsia. And she just loved the color. She loved the shape of the monster, so she got a monster. So between the two of them, I was up to $14. And then, you know how I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked to get my $5 bin up to 95 items? One person. Oh, well, I suppose you could say two, because it was a mother and son. One shopper actually looked in the $5 bin. It's like, people, can't you even just look? Okay. She looked in there and she got herself a little happy coffee. And her son got a bright green little football. Lori, that was from your yarn. Thank you. So that came out to $10. That took me up to $24. Okay, now I'm only $16 in the hole. And that was at 1:36. There was close to 2 hours between my granddaughter's visit and the next purchase. And then, but right after that, there's this family walking by with a little girl, and she homed in on a pink and green turtle. That's another one from Lori's yarn. Yep. It was the turtle from Jenna Tatu's book, No So Mini Amigurumi. I don't think I have a picture of it. But that was $12. That took me up to $36. Yes. Only $4 from having the table paid for. By that time it was 1:38. Okay, I've got an hour and a half left in the show. I was like, please just let me cover the table. And at 2:16, somebody was walking by and they got a micro octo for $4, which took me up to exactly $40. Table's paid for. That's it. Yeah, I was tired. I was a bit discouraged. So that's why when I got home, I made up a list. I was shooting for 10. I think I've got 11. But for one thing, there was glorious weather. The weather was a little cool when I left, but it was 75, 80 degrees for most of the time. When I got there, my daughter was just walking up to the corner to meet the bus for the two big girls to get off the bus. And I said, well, I stopped at the store and I've got a couple things that need to go in the fridge, the freezer. So I will put those away, and if you're not on your way back down from the bus, then I'll come join you. So she's got the 3-year-old in a stroller, and she's taking Molly, the dog, for a walk up there. Well, I get about halfway up the hill, and Molly sees me. And Molly wants to come see Grammy. Molly is literally pulling my daughter down the hill until I got up there, and she's like jumping on me like, oh, scratch my ear, scratch my ear. So then we all walked back up to the top of the hill. Molly didn't want to leave Grammy behind. And, the girls were all excited, Grammy, Grammy, when they got off the bus. I got to spend some nice time with them, reading them books, and I was telling them the story. If you go back and you watch Thursday? Happy Mail? Yes, Thursday's Happy Mail video. I was saying, I sent this lady some yarn, and she sent me all these nice things, and she sent me a mystery pattern where I just have these without pictures, and I have to make this up and figure out what it is. And I started working on the first, and they were all, especially Aaliyah, who's almost 9. What is it? What is it? Oh, I think it's looking like a dinosaur. And then they went to a soccer game with Daddy. When they came back, I had it finished except for the arms. Well, he was like, oh no, it's not a dinosaur, it's a mouse. So Aaliyah and Sophie said mouse. Ellie said bear. But here was the first of the, oh, his eyes are washing out here. There are eyes in teal blue. There we go, like right there and right over there. Because the gray yarn has some black flecks here and there, it's sort of hard to see the eyes sometimes. But he has cute little eyes. There's the first mystery project. Oh, there's his little pink tail. So that was project number 1. Project number 2 I actually worked on Saturday at the craft show, and my car is not unpacked yet. I got out the bare minimum that I needed to get out of the car, and once I'm done with this video, I'm changing into my jammies, and I'm just going to settle into my chair, and I will deal with stuff tomorrow. So I don't know where the second project is, but there's a picture that I took of it at the show. And you know what? This envelope with the pictures for your collection, no peeking, open after you've completed your projects. I left this here at home. So I completed the projects a day ago. And I didn't. Oh, okay. So this is the little mouse from Fat Lady Crochet. Yeah, I think it looks like the picture. And then there's Itty Bitty Coffee Cup, free crochet pattern. It doesn't say here who the designer is right now. But that's what they say it's supposed to look like. Mine looks a little chubbier. I'll put this here. We'll put it there. I don't know. My coffee had too many treats that morning. So, I got sidetracked. I was talking about the great weather, and then I got into Molly, and then I got into the grandchildren. Safety in travels. I'm thankful for that, because there were some people out there that were not driving nicely. Especially on the way home. There was a Bills game, and my route home took me like I'm getting off the thruway, and here's all these people who are leaving the Bills game and trying to get onto the thruway. Yeah, that was a mess. They were people who thought that red arrows did not apply to them. That, you know, you've got a green arrow to turn, but once that arrow turns red, you can still turn. And there was like gridlock in the middle of the intersection, all these horns beeping. It's just like, get me out of here. So I made a left and got out of there. You know, but safe travels. I logged about 500 miles since Friday morning, and we're all fine. You know, that's fine. One concern that I had, I did not take my cart, because they said there would be plenty of carts available at the show. So setup would start at 7. I didn't leave the house until 10 after 7, so I didn't get there till like 7:30. I got the best parking space in, just the best, because that's my car, like right outside the door. Just a few steps to get into the building. And there was a cart. I walk in the building, ta-da, there was a cart. So it only took me 2 trips to get the stuff in. Then I just left this pile of stuff, and I went out to move my car. When I was walking back down, that was the situation. My car, when I first parked, was up by that red X by the building. And when after I had unpacked and taken my car back up, they were parking people on the lawn up by the exit. where you'd have to, get your stuff off the lawn and walk all the way up there. So I was blessed to get a good parking space to unload my car. What was the next one? Number 4, free room and board for the weekend. I stayed in my daughter's basement. She fed me, so there were no additional expenses there. Yay! Number 5, I already did a little bit of this. Time with the grandchildren. Ellie is 3, the youngest. And I haven't really seen her all that much. I only see her maybe 4 or 5 times a year. And 3-year-old attention span, I don't know if she remembers me all that much. But when I got home from the show, I had just loaded the car back up in over 80-degree weather. I was wearing jeans, a t-shirt, but it was just so hot. Got back to my daughter's house, and before I changed into a lighter pair of sweatpants, like yoga pants, I went and got a ponytail holder, and I was, okay, let's get my hair up in a bun. And Ellie's looking at me like, Grammy, what are you doing? What? What are you doing with your hair? And I said, I'm putting it up in a bun because I am hot. And she goes, oh, okay. When I was your age, I was hot too. What? I got to read her a bunch of books last night. I will pass on Fox in Socks. That one, ugh. But I read it twice. Okay, next. There's a nice church service at my daughter's church this morning. I've, been going there, what is it, like 6 years that they've been down in Pennsylvania. So it's good to see the pastor up and walking again. He blew out a knee on a hiking trip. I think it was in Scotland. So he had to fly home with a torn up knee. And he had to have surgery, and he couldn't stand for all that long. So he had to preach from a chair, and now he's walking around and can bend his knee and all that. So it's good to see that he's back to good health. And he showed a picture of his new granddaughter, which getting cute baby pictures into the sermon is always a plus. Yes, Mom. Okay. Number 7 of my thankfulness was that I was pretty much able to stay on plan with my eating this weekend. Sometimes these solo trips or disappointing craft shows, I could slip into bad habits. Like if a craft show isn't going well, I have been known to self-medicate with chocolate. And there was a lady there selling gluten-free macaroons. I only had one. It was strawberry cheesecake, and it was delicious. So, but there have been times when I'm driving home, I'm like, oh, I've got to do something to help break the time up of this 3.5-hour drive. So I would get a package of like peanut butter M&Ms. And every time a new song started on the radio, I would get to have one M&M. I didn't do that this time. I stayed on plan. We shall see tomorrow with my weigh-in how well I did. Okay, I was able to pick up some items at the grocery stores down there that they don't have up here. My husband's favorite cereal and my husband's favorite pre-made pizza, like pre-baked pizza crusts. So we're all stocked up on Grainberry cereal and Mia pizza crusts for a while now. Oh yes, I already told you, the mystery projects. Having the 2 mystery projects, the fun of working on those really helped to pick up the weekend. So thank you again, Amy. That was so much fun. And I got to do another blanket to prepare for my granddaughter. She has the same baby blanket that she has been cuddling ever since she was a baby, and she's almost 9 years old. And the Lion Brand ice cream yarn does not hold up well to frequent washings. So the blanket is getting thinner and thinner, and the yarns break, and there were big holes in it. So there was this big hole, and I took the leftover yarn from project number 2, the coffee cup, and because the hole was so big, I crocheted like this triangle connecting the sides. My granddaughter loves it, that there are all these patches put onto her blanket. So the blanket is repaired. She's happy. And she thought it was very cool that part of the mystery project ended up in her blanket. And then the last one was the mischief that I got into on the way home. But this video is already over 20 minutes. And I want to go change into my pajamas and go sit in my super comfortable chair and work on projects. So I'm going to hold off on my mischief to tell you about my mischief until tomorrow, so that I have something to say tomorrow. So I hope that instead of feeling sorry for me for having a crummy craft show, that you will try to make up your own list of just things that you are thankful for and special blessings that have come your way, and just keep looking on the positive side. But I can tell you, my next craft show better be a good one. I was so wrong about everything. I was thinking, oh, these chickens are going to sell. Well, I sold one to my granddaughter. Oh, this $5 bin. I'm going to sell out of this $5. Nope, only one person shopping there. So you just can't predict. You got to roll with it, and you got to look on the positive. So I am absolutely positive that I'm going to go change into my comfy pajamas and go sit in my chair and crochet now. So bye-bye.